Hi folks, in this video I'm going to show you how to do a couple basic things in Zotero. I've not used this probably in over a decade, so this is kind of me fiddling around, but one of the things that I always remember is that you could basically integrate and search through the library, export things, and then use that to import. So in this case, I just went to EBSCO, Academic Search Premier, and I typed in Alfred Rovi. In this case, I really want just author. I'm going to hit search. And it's likely because he has an initial usually. So I'm going to actually undo that and see if it comes up easier this way. And so it basically gave me one thing. So I'm going to try, let's get rid of that. And let's try to search this way and see if author without the quotation marks gets us further. Okay, we got 20 things, so this isn't exactly what I wanted, but it gives me enough to kind of work with and show you at least the point of what I'm trying to get at. So there is a way where I can start adding these. So I'm going to hit that in the folder. I'm going to hit this one in the folder. And right now I'm less concerned with whether each one is something that we used in our project, because I can easily delete it once it's in Zotero. So just glancing to make sure, double check that it is author. It should have done it that way. So, and there might even be at the top a way to select all, and I just missed it. Yeah, and this goes to a Chronicle article, so I definitely don't need that. So I'm going to go to folder view. It says my folder has items, and so this is where I'm going to export. And before I do, number of items to be saved. So I wanted to make sure that was set. But here you'll notice direct export to an RIS format. And you'll notice that you see Zotero there, but you see others. And so this probably works with Mendeley too. And so I'm going to hit save. And then it says import these into Zotero. So I have the connector installed and I have Zotero open. And so I'm not sure if you definitely have to have both of those to work, but it says saving to my library. It looks like it saved all those. So let's hit done. And then you can see what it's done is it's auto-populated all these here. So now that I have these, this is where I can expand and I can start cleaning it up. So with any of these, even if you take this one, for instance, I don't want this to be all capital, because then if I end up using some type of formatting for my references, it would be wrong. So I would go in here and I'd clean this up. I don't remember with this, like, do I want this period or not? I'm going to leave it for now, but this is something that I definitely want to figure out. It has the abstract, which is nice and handy. I then can go down and see a few other things. I can see a direct URL here, which allows me to go back to it. But I can also, if I had it, for instance, let's say that's the gender differences. So I have the article, let's say here. Let's say it's this one, I could get my share link and I could add that. And so one of the nice things probably would be about sharing your own is then if you actually annotated it, you would have an annotated version. So let's say you annotated the PDF directly. I've not done enough work with Hypothesis to find out, with that tool, can you actually export your annotations in a way that would be savable over time. Then other things you might do is you might add some keywords and notes, so in tags. So here it has this as notes, but this isn't really useful for me. So this is where I could go through and start adding some of the stuff from our table. For instance, key findings I might list in here, or I might try to summarize it as an annotation that's useful. I might also have a few links if I wanted to, or a few quotes. So I might add direct quotes in there. So I can click down here to edit in a separate window. And then other things I could do up here is tags, and I couldn't tell real quick. If I can just add tags here, I can. Is not only would you maybe add tags like classroom community, in case this was going to be, your Zotero was going to have things likely beyond just Rovi and community, but you also might add things like read or not read. And so there are other ways that you could do something like that. You could also rate it on a scale of 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 on how important and useful, just so you can remember later that this is something to come back to. So you can see that there's already certain tags in here that it's brought over from the keywords, likely from just what the database has already done for us. But this is a quick way to show you how you can use the library to export this stuff and then to start adding your information. And hopefully this is helpful. Thanks.